Mark Smith raises 4 very pertinent questions for our First Minister Scotland. Could you answer these 4 questions, First Minister? The Herald, December 23. Amazingly, despite the incessant calls from Nicola Sturgeon for a second independence referendum since the result of the 2016 EU referendum, she has not found time to properly address any of these issues publicly, despite being well aware of their relevance to people's understanding of whether there should be another vote on independence anytime soon. The First Minister, and I suspect most of the rest of Scotland, know the honest answers to the questions Mr. Smith has posed, but equally she is aware that they are inconvenient to her cause. A referendum in 2020 is not a genuine ambition of the First Minister, partly because polls suggest the result might not be in her favour, but also because, as experts have stated, logistically there would not be enough time to hold it next year. Instead, the earliest it could happen would be 1 to 2 years after the 2021 Holyrood elections. On the mandate issue, while Nicola Sturgeon claims it is unarguable, she is well aware of many potential arguments against it, not least because the latest general election was primarily about Brexit. Equally, for many in Scotland, the expectation that the result of the 2014 referendum should stand for a reasonable period, if not a generation, should not be overturned by a change in circumstances if opinion polling suggests those changes have not significantly shifted support for independence. As for whether leaving the UK would be more complex and painful than leaving the EU, no one observing the machinations of the last 3 years of negotiations can think it would be anything but far worse to disentangle from the much closer and deeply seated UK union. Finally, the First Minister will not want to publicly contemplate what she would do if the majority for independence in any future referendum was only slight. Would less than 1% still be enough? Would a statistical draw be taken as justifying separation? Mr. Sturgeon's sense of fairness would have her answer no to that, but the ingrained nationalist ambition for independence at any cost will see her avoid facing up to such a conundrum until it actually happens. Keith Howell, West Linton. The 4 questions to Nicola Sturgeon in Mark Smith's column go a long way to identifying what doesn't work with her approach to major constitutional issues in. As long as elections and referendums are based on first past the post, FPTP, the results will be what he describes rather too gently as an inaccurate reflection of opinion. The fundamental deficiency is that FPTP does not result in a spread of opinion in the so-called representatives which reflects the true wishes of the electorate as a whole. The votes of the PR elected Scot. For more on this story, visit the news article link.